looking back, like shouts out to all the teachers out there who have been working during the pandemic. It's not the easiest to go through, um having to handle students and trying to teach, especially when it comes to transitioning over from a when it comes to teaching, transitioning over from an online platform back into a physical setting. And for the most part, like, because this has been reintroduced again, I feel like it's been a whole different learning experience for a lot of us, not just for us as teachers, but also for students. Would you guys agree?
Yeah,
For
for
sure,
sure.
dude. Like I'm telling you now, I think one of the biggest fears about online learning in general is like, what if every student, or like, there are some students that are going to be straggling out. I remember reading an article that there were a handful of students that struggled to have access to proper internet because classes switched online and all that, and it must have been really hard as an educator yourself trying to like find a way to accommodate these students too. And like I'm telling you, man, this stuff looks real hard as an educator. And, as a student myself too, I had to adjust, and it did take a bit. And luckily for me, it wasn't a big issue adjusting to the courses online because as a college student, you're gonna learn how to be flexible with like what types of classes you'll get. But as an instructor, it's a really different thing because you have to accommodate not only one student but like a set of classes. And like I give you props, Simon, because that shit real tough.
Thank you, thank you. Um, I do have to admit, when I was taking online classes, I still like the idea of being able to learn sorry, I still like the idea of being able to work online. It's just that there's just some things that I really do feel that just are not effective unless you're teaching face to face. Because here's the thing, um the thing about learning styles, right? And this is this is where we identify our students in the classroom, because students students have different learning styles. Not everybody works the same way. um if you are a visual learner, if you are an audio sensory learner, you do have a better time working online. But for kinesthetic learners need to have something hands on in order for them to be able to in order for them to be able to garner that the learning experience. So when you think about it, when you look at elective courses like art, or um, cooking, right, or auto mechanics, like it's hard to grasp it unless you're able to see it live or face to face, right?
Yeah,
um, and
especially like
what's
it's
crazy is that. All right, go
that's
ahead.
like one of a good example of that actually.
Okay.
Man, that was like one of the good examples of that because I remember I had a math class that was online and just watching the videos alone does help, but then like when you don't have like when you start to do like the problems itself, you're like wondering if the technique you're doing is right.
Hmm. But I will say this also, like, I do feel like with uh post secondary education, I do feel like a lot more people are a lot more flexible, especially when you have students that are working, that are able to work jobs to uh work a sustainable, like, to uh what's the word I'm looking for, that are able to work uh online. Even if they don't have an internet connection, they can still go to a place that offers Wi-Fi, right? But
Yeah.
when you like primary education, so when you're looking at it from a K-12 perspective, like, uh not students don't exactly have that, some students don't exactly have that luxury to be able to work to work online, and that goes back to what Arnell mentioned about how in working in that setting, it makes it a lot harder for students uh, to get better to learn because they don't have access to it's a little bit harder for them to access a stable internet connection.
Not only that, it's one thing to like, and even if they do have internet too, it's another thing is trying to like afford it, especially when a lot of families struggled because of COVID and all that. They lost their jobs and all that. Paying bills is real tough, and just trying to like get your internet, at home like stable, and trying not to get disconnected is another can of worms itself. So yeah, there's like a lot of things you got to account for too.
Oh no, I do agree.
It's
That's a whole big can of worms. Um, I feel like another factor when it comes to the whole learning experience, like learning online. What makes it hard, especially if you're studying from home. I like the idea of studying at home. I think it's convenient. It's you don't have to worry about transportation, but I feel like the experience is much more difficult when you have more when you're living with more people, because if you think about it, if you're a kid, right, uh living at home and you're taking classes, you're not the only one that's using you're not the only one that's using the you're not the only one that's using the internet. um Whether it be your mom watching a YouTube video, your dad trying to search something up online. uh those also take up a lot of bandwidth per se, and how much more if you are in a household with other siblings as well, who are also going to be taking who are also taking classes within that same household. That's like
The can of worms keep expanding.
yeah, because I came to a moment of I came to a moment of realization when I was working from home and my brother was taking online classes. I was in the middle of a Zoom meeting and my brother was in the middle of taking classes. So like a lot of that bandwidth just like kicked in, and then my mom was watching YouTube videos, and then my dad was also listening to music on Spotify. So you can imagine all that traffic being consolidated uh, into uh, into one internet connection. And here's the thing, I think if you guys for some of my longtime viewers that have been watching, I tell you guys like Saipan doesn't exactly have the best internet connection plans. Like if you there it's affordable, yes, but there's not much options to work with, uh especially in the begin if especially if it's in the beginning phase, because like I said, not everybody has the convenient not everyone has the same convenience of being able to work online. And again, it's frustrating. I think it goes without saying it's a super frustrating experience. Yeah.
You know, speaking of like online experiences, I think the one understated experience about online work, if you don't know anyone in that online class, especially if it's a pure online, no virtual meetups, it gets lonely. Like
Yeah,
you turn in your work for the week, you turn in your work for the week, and you ask yourself, all right, it's gonna get graded. You want to ask yourself, all right, can I compare my work to my class? And it's like, I don't want to bother them via email. It's gonna be awkward. I'm
especially like
telling
if you
you,
don't
dude.
see
Like,
their faces as well, right?
mm,
yeah, like oh my goodness, man. Like I think throughout my time working on my minor degree in business management, a lot of my classes were like pure online where I don't have virtual like face-to-face meetups. So it's like so it feels so desolate, man. Like I'll turn in my work because usually after I turn in my work, I usually hit up some classmates to compare work. But if you don't have like classmates to like compare to, it feels weird. Like it's so empty. if it's a virtual hybrid, you can still work something out. Like you'll probably have like a group chat or something.
Hmm.
But like if it's like those pure virtual classes, that's where it gets awkward.
Yeah, so just to provide a little bit of context here, when we say virtual hybrid, these are sessions where students are able to work a certain amount of days inside of a physical classroom, and on the other side of that, students are required to meet online through a third party meeting device meetings program such as Zoom. Or for me, I use Blackboard. So Blackboard is a third party application where it serves as a virtual classroom.